Hello everyone, welcome once again to Investing with a Difference. So we are going to go through what happened this year in today's video. So as we are coming to the end of the year 2018, I think a lot of you have been looking at the markets, at your portfolios, EOS. I think a lot of stuff happened. So let's have a quick look first of all at where we are today. We are kind of stabilizing above $4,000 on Bitcoin, and the market cap is more than 133 billion, which is kind of a recovery from the lows which we saw a few days back. EOS is kind of settling above $2.50. It consolidated a bit. So let's first move into the Bitcoin chart. So as we said that we are going to look at the whole year. So what really happened? It's always good to see the big picture. You need to always remember where we were. So we had a huge bull run in Bitcoin starting as early as let's go back to 2015 or 16 time frame, which was around $200. And look, if you look at it, this is the 200-day moving average, where Bitcoin always remained above 200-day moving average ever since the 2015 bear market ended. So this was the crossing point, and after that, whenever it dipped below 200-day moving average, it came back above very fast. And as we saw, the first time in many years when we dipped below 200-day moving average, it tried to come back up, and there was a hope that we will continue this bull run. But as we continuously kept dipping and then tested this 200-day moving average so many times, even though we were in a sideways movement most of the year, right? If you look at it, this is again a logarithmic chart, so it can give you a bad, false picture of sideways. I'm sure a lot of you must have felt a big jumps up and down, but in a bigger picture, it was still a sideways movement in a logarithmic chart, which I love to use for long-term scenarios. And ultimately, we broke down in November, and we touched these lows. Now, all this big jump from $3,000 to almost $4,100, $200, I would still call it a bounce, as a dead cat bounce, because what is happening here is we are way below this 200-day moving average. And as I told you, that is what defines a multi-year bull run. That is what defined last time when we broke out of continuous, what was the last period. I think if you go back on a logarithmic chart, this is what it shows. It's from $640 to almost $220. It was like 60-70% correction, and in between it went all the way down to $120 many times. So basic idea is that you need to go break out above 200-day moving average and sustain to really say that we have broken out of this downtrend. And if you look at it, what I'm trying to show you here is this 200-day moving average is still at 6,200 right now. So around $6,000, which was the earlier support area, which we spent a lot of time in. I would say unless we cross that, we are still in a bear market for Bitcoin. Now let's have a quick look at EOS, because EOS does not have that long history, so I would not focus too much on 200-day moving average. EOS is a fairly new chain. It was ICO'd last year, and we had some exciting times around the launch. Just before the launch, there was a lot of hype. We touched $23, but from then I will just look at the short-term charts, and we will see that we have this downtrend. And recent capitulation has led to a lot of volumes. Again, let me go back to Bitcoin. I think it's a very similar chart here. We are jumping, we are seeing a dead cat bounce unless we cross this downward facing trend line and we maybe reach around the $5 mark. I think we are still in a bear market and nothing is changing. But yeah, I think it's a great relief rally in the last few days, and we are hoping that this can turn into a uptrend at some point. On the other hand, I see there's a lot of pessimism in the market, and that is a good sign for bottoming. So there are good reasons why it can turn around from here, but what I'm trying to highlight here is that we have not really turned around. It's just a bounce. It's a very promising one. What is interesting and which I like right now is the volumes. So if you look at it at a bigger scale, you see these peaks in the volume and a lot of concentration happening here, which is very exciting because this was not happening in the previous bounces here. It was there in the March-April time frame when there was a lot of volume again, but I think now we have been settling down with low volumes. except for this one big spike which happened when there was an issue with the BitMEX exchange closing down, and there was some manipulation going on, so I would ignore that. But other than that, I think we are now seeing these peaks, which is a great sign. So what else is happening? So let's go to the EOS world. So I think one thing which I think everybody has been looking at has been the ECAF. And one interesting thing happened is there is this first ruling for ECAF to change the keys. You remember there was a lot of FUD around EOS that people are losing, like, there is a authority which is actually going and taking the tokens from people and changing the keys. It has never happened. It was only locked those accounts which are suspected to be stolen. And what we are looking at is the first ECAF ruling to change the keys has been issued. And interestingly, none of the BPs are willing to support it now. And what we are seeing is this, it has been put for voting. And looking at the votes, it was issued, this ECAF ruling, and this proposal was created on 16 December, and only 3 BPs have approved it. Everybody else is not willing to approve it. There is another one after that, 17 December, there was another proposal, and it is already approved. So that means the BPs have already looked into what they want to approve. And a proposal which was later, that is the referendum proposal creation, which is definitely supported by everybody, is going ahead. While what we are seeing is there is no support for ECAF orders. So this is showing that ECAF is losing a lot of kind of support from block producers, and if this does not go through in next 2 to 3 days, this proposal will not be valid, and this will be a big blow to ECAF. And I think, as you know, that I have always talked about ECAF being an attack vector. We talked about a fake ECAF order which was issued a few days back, and it's a kind of a controversial topic. So I would hope that this is something which gets sorted out, and this is a great example of how this is going to play out. And as I said, the referendums are on the way. The system contracts and the changes in the code are already happening. The eosio.forum has been created, and soon you will start seeing referendums and the voting on the chain, which will give you voice to decide what proposals should go through. The next news item I wanted to cover is, of course, the Telos is now listing on exchanges. Quite a few exchanges have shown support, and it has Chainrift is the first one to list. What you're seeing is a huge price. It's almost 0.3 EOS, which is 1/3 of the EOS price, token price. But the reason is right now there is no supply at all. Only the block producers who are producing on Telos can sell, because the chain just got activated, and even if you unstake, it takes 3 days to unstake your tokens. So people who are first up in unstaking, they can enjoy this big move. I'm sure a lot of people will be selling into this because of this 0.3 EOS. The good news for Telos is that there are not many big whales, because they cut the supply at 40,000 tokens. So there may not be a big dump. Just like other airdrop tokens, what happens, so if you see most of the airdrop tokens, which are like, for example, NewDex or Dex EOS, you see when they gave 1:1 airdrop to all EOS holders, they saw some dump and price goes down. But for Telos, what is happening is it is seeing some interest from buyers, because people are looking for opportunities to invest. But and if you look at this, it's only 1138 Telos for sale, while the buy orders are 8,900 EOS. That means 3 times of that if we consider the price of 0.3, or 4 times of that. So you're looking at almost a demand for 32,000 EOS Telos versus only 1,138 available for sale, and that is creating this kind of a price. So if you are quick, and if you were the first one to create your accounts on Telos from your Genesis keys, and you are able to unstake the tokens quickly, there's an opportunity here, because this is a great price in my eyes if you're selling. But of course, if you believe in Telos, and if you think that it can be as valuable as EOS, then I think it's a totally different story, and you don't want to sell. To be frank, my gut feeling says that 0.3 EOS is too high, unless they have to prove how Telos goes and so on. But I think it will be interesting to see how the pricing works out when the supply unlocks, when more people are unstaking and trying to sell it on the exchange, and that is what will be interesting. So Worbli, on the other hand, which never till now has made it, they had done a lot of private sales. They are actually selling here from Worbli accounts. It's almost like a pre-sale through the exchange. That is only quoting at 0.013 EOS, which is like way below Telos, while Worbli has a much stronger block producers as a sister chain as compared to Telos. But I think Telos is making good progress. Let's not underwrite them. I think we need to make sure that we follow how the progress goes. There's a lot of enthusiasm right now, and only 1600 Telos have been traded, so it's a very low volume, and same thing for Worbli. So it's not a huge volumes, so these prices have to be taken with a grain of salt. What else is happening? I think we also need to look at in general the market. I would say that it's a year-end bump. The prices, be careful out there, do not go overboard. But yes, I think it's a great relief rally. I hope you are having a great time in these holidays and relaxing a bit. And as I said, EOS continues to develop. We see, like, if you look at this new DEX and if you look at these coins, EOS has its own market now. It's like hundreds of coins which are listed, being traded. All these are projects which are working. Of course, many of them are just a copycat for the DICE and all the gambling apps, but they're doing very well. If you look at DICE itself, they are actually the DICE token and the EOS bet token. Look at how much money they have created for people. Like, it's gone 10 times from the original listing price, actually 40 times or more, and huge amount of dividends are being created. The CPU is getting, like, originally we were looking at some fake transactions like a block Twitter or something, testing and creating records, and right now we are actually creating records based on real transactions, whether it's a gambling or whatever app you can talk about. It doesn't matter. They're real millions, like 38 million actions and operations which are going on this chain on EOS right now. And again, as I said yesterday, it is pretty easy right now to use EOS. We have the CPU issue is not there because of some issues which this gambling apps faced, and they had to come offline because of some bug, and most of them are still trying to figure that out. So I think that has given you an opportunity. Many of them are up now, but I think CPU is still doing great. And there's a new update coming from Block 1. What I heard is there's a new release candidate which will greatly improve the CPU performance, and that is something which we are all waiting for, and that should again help. So I hope all of you are going to keep using EOS, keep building. We are starting the block start very soon. So we just created a block start initiative in Silicon Valley. We are going to be announcing this, and soon. This website is just early days. We are still in the process of creating the Blockstart portal, and we are bringing the developers together, and we are going to be incubating a lot of dApps on EOS, and hope that we will get support from you, and we are already getting great support from EOS community on this. So look forward to building together on EOS, and a great 2019 ahead. And if you are already going offline or you are going for holidays, have a great time, spend time with your families, do not worry about markets. I think what is important is you are in the right space if you are invested, and because this is something which the development is still happening at a very fast pace if you are involved, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out in the next couple of years. Thanks once again for joining. Have great holidays and Happy New Year. And we will be back soon, and we will also post some more videos which I will try to record while I'm away in next week or so, but I will keep posting some of the interesting content, but I cannot promise that. So if I don't see you till then, Happy New Year, and talk to you next year in 2019. Bye bye.